Good morning, everybody. Matt Modak here with 4 NBA player props for you guys to hammer for tonight's NBA betting slate. We're talking Tuesday, November 14th. 4 player props, 3 of which are of the pumped up variety. If you're new to my channel, you don't know what I mean. When I say pumped up variety, all I mean is that I find a player prop that I like, but instead of taking it at the main line, I pump the numbers up a little bit to get pretty juicy odds. Now, it's been phenomenal for the NFL season. So far, it's been hit or miss for the NBA. Yesterday, I gave out 3 player props of the pumped up variety. Unfortunately, did not get any of those 3 to cash. We ended the day 0 for 3, down 3 units. And yesterday was just one of those days where even if we took them at the main lines, those wouldn't have cashed either. So it was just one of those days where I did not have the reads right on the plays. I had 2 straight profitable days heading into yesterday, so it's only natural to have it to swing back the other way. That brings our total profit on these NBA player props to a slight profit of over 1 unit on the season. Obviously, we're looking to find our stride here and start getting heavily into the green like we did for baseball, like we are currently in for football. Just haven't gotten there yet, but I'm confident we will get there. If you are new to my channel and you want to follow me along this pumped up journey, would appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, of course, and then comment. Let me know your thoughts, whether you're tailing, whether you're fading. I always love reading the comments and just seeing what people think. So make sure to do that, and we can get into today. So 4 plays that we have. The first one is our first first and only non-pumped up player prop in the Magic versus Nets game. We're taking Mikal Bridges under 25.5 points, minus 115 odds at FanDuel. So again, my only non-pumped up prop. So Bridges, first of all, I love Bridges. He's a great player. He had an awesome start to his Nets career when he was first traded from the Suns to the Nets. But over the past, 30 games or so, we're starting to see that Bridges, as talented as he is just not suited to be the number 1 primary facilitator, primary scorer for an offense in the NBA. He just isn't quite skilled enough. We saw it in the playoffs once the Nets got there, and then we're also seeing it to begin this year as well. His point total is 25.5. This is a number that Bridges has only gone over twice this year, and both of those games were against bad defenses, which is not the case against the Magic tonight, which we'll get into. The reason why I love specifically fading him tonight is because he literally just went over this total yesterday, but that was against the Wizards, who are in a total abomination. He scored 27 points in that game, but it was on disgusting shooting. He was 11 of 29 from the field, and he was 2 of 14 from deep. Now, obviously, if he consistently puts up those types of shots in terms of just volume, that would be scary. But that is also so clearly the outlier. If you look at his field goal attempts, that's by far the outlier, that it's unlikely that he continues to shoot that much. And the Magic, as I hinted at earlier, have a very good defense, surprisingly very good defense. They have the second best defensive net rating in the entire NBA. Only the Timberwolves are above them, and they allow the 6th fewest points per game as well. Now, for all of these player props, I check props.cash, which is an amazing tool. If you don't have it, sign up, use promo code MODAC25. That helps me out a lot. Tons of helpful historical data. They also give out projections. They project Mikal Bridges to have closer to 20 points, which is where I project him as well. So pretty decent value on the under 25.5 as our first play. Next up, and now we're getting into the pumped up plays in the Timberwolves versus Warriors game. We're taking Anthony Edwards, 30 plus points, plus 155 odds at FanDuel. So now for the pumped up props, starting with Anthony Edwards, who is probably my favorite non-Sixer in the NBA. I absolutely love Anthony Edwards. He's awesome. Now, I will admit, these are normally the types of situations that I actually tend to fade. And what I mean by that is he just hung 33 on the Warriors and a W for the Timberwolves. We all saw the clip of him and Draymond going at it. So I always try to fade those situations. But for tonight, I actually am not doing that. I have a hard time seeing Anthony Edwards not want to show up for this game, considering the type of guy that he is, the type of gamer that he is, and just how good he is. Not only the fact that he lives for these types of moments, he's also awesome. And I can see him wanting to go right back at Draymond again. So the fact that he scored 33 last game doesn't scare me off. I also like the fact, despite scoring 33 points, if you look at his shooting splits, he didn't shoot that well. He went 10 of 10 from the line, which obviously helped. But if you take away his free throw attempts, he shot 1 of 9 from 3-point range, and he shot 11 of 27 overall. So in this game, he could still possibly get to the line 10 times. I still project him to shoot 8+ 3-pointers and 25+ from the field. He probably isn't going to shoot as poorly as he did yesterday or last game. And even if he did, he's shown us he could still get to 30+ points. And he could easily get to the line another 10 times. He got to the line, I mentioned, 10 times last game. The game prior to that, he got to the line 11 times. Now, looking at the Warriors, their defense has been decent this year, unlike the step back they took last year. They give up the 10th fewest points per game, and they have the 11th best defense according to net rating. But I'm predicting, Anthony Edwards to show out once again. Also, again, looked at props.cash. They project him to have 30 points in this one. Love using their projections. So rooting for Anthony Edwards. That is not a hard sell. Let's hope he can get to 30 points for us. Next up, Heat versus Hornets. We're taking Mark Williams, 15+ points, plus 200 odds at FanDuel. Now, Mark Williams and the Hornets, nobody cares about them because the Hornets aren't good and they're in mediocrity, but Mark Williams has sneakily actually been pretty good for the Hornets. So he averages around 25 minutes per game. A couple times he's gone over 30, a couple times he's gone below 20, so it just depends on the game script and how things go. But even in that limited minutes, he scored double digits in every single game except for 2. In one game that he missed, he had 9, so obviously right around that number. And the 15-point number, which we are tracking at, he has hit in 4 of 9 games this year. He also has 2 games in which he scored 20 points. So he's been hovering right around this 15-point number majority of the season. And for plus 200 odds, it's pretty good value. And as I mentioned, and I'm telling you, he's been solid for the Hornets. Now, last game was not one of his good games against the Knicks, who do have a very good defense. He only scored 10 points and he only attempted 5 shots. Now, the game prior to that, he attempted 21 shots. Both of those are unlikely to continue. He's going to shoot more than 5. He's probably not going to shoot 21. Because prior to that 21, he had a game where he shot 8, another game where he shot 12. And because he's a rim running center, he takes such high percentage looks. So we don't necessarily need him to shoot 20 times. He could shoot 10, make 8 of them. We're going to be sitting pretty, cashing this 15+ points. His main line for this one is 11.5. And if you wanted to be a little bit safer, I would not blame you for taking that. He's hit that 11.5 number in 6 of 9 games this year. Obviously, we're taking it and we're only tracking the pumped up number, but I do just want to highlight that. Another situation, props.cash projects him to actually score 16 points, so 1 above what we need him to hit. Love that for us as well. As our third pick, next up, fourth and final pick for the evening, Mavs versus Pelicans. We're taking Zion Williamson, 30+ points, plus 200 odds at FanDuel. Now, I will gladly admit that this is the scariest one of all of the plays today. You're definitely going to want to take some Pepto for this one. It's not going to feel great. This is a play mostly because of the squeaky wheel treatment. And I love situations where players come out in their press conference and clearly show that they're unhappy. The next game, generally, they get a ton of shots. I'm not going to say whether he's going to score 30. I'm guessing his usage rate is going to increase in this game. And what I mean by his comments, if you missed it, here was his exact quote after their last game in which the Pelicans lost. His exact quote: "It's tough right now. I'm taking a little back seat right now, and I'm trusting the process." First of all, love a guy saying trusting the process. Nice shout out to me there. But it's not like Zion has been bad. He just hasn't been great, and his usage obviously isn't there. So his over-under is 25.5 points in this game. He literally hasn't scored more than 25 points in a single game this entire year. Now, as I mentioned, he hasn't been bad. He scored 18+ in every game except for 2, and he scored 18+ in every single game, and he scored 20+ in every single game except for 2. Now, he just played these Mavericks, and that was his lowest point total of the year, in which he scored 18, which is why he came out with the comments regardless, or in general. But I love situations like this. We've seen it all the time. Player complains, gets the squeaky wheel treatment, immediately shows out the next game. It's also one of my favorite situations where literally his over-under, his mainline over-under, has not been hit the entire year. A 0% hit percentage. People are going to see that and immediately want to hammer the under, saying, well, he hasn't hit this at all. Why would I take his over? And I get it. But I love situations like that because I love fading that type of group think. So I see situations like that and it wants me to do the opposite, hammer the over. So in this case, 26 points would be to the main line. We just need him to get 30. If he doesn't get to 26, I might have to put him on the no bet list as he gets his role figured out, or we just start taking his unders. But for this one, I'm confident. I like the fact that we can get him to get the 30 plus points after his comments as our fourth and final pick of the evening. And that's all we got. Rounding out 4 picks for you guys. I put 1 unit on each play individually. I parlay them as well for about $5. So if you're tailing, make sure to comment and let me know. Other than that, remember to like the video, comment, all that stuff, subscribe, and have a good one.